who here saw my Larry King interview? I did an interview with Larry King. Okay, you guys need to go home and you need to watch it. All right?
Welcome to Larry King Now. Joining us is the famed clairvoyant medium Tyler Henry, who has helped people from all walks of life find closure and comfort following the passing of their loved ones. What happens when people die?
Well, it's a good question. That's
why I asked it.
I don't even have the answer to. No
well,
doubt.
You can communicate with them.
Sure.
Don't you ask where they are and what happened when they died?
Do.
What do they tell you?
It's the equivalent of human laughter. They come through and they think we are silly to try to understand something beyond our capability of reasoning and understanding. In fact, they liken it to if we were to take a cockroach. We had a cockroach right here. We had this cockroach, and I had to explain arithmetic to that cockroach. That cockroach would not have the means of understanding arithmetic, right? We as human beings, with our brain and our limited perception and understanding of things, I think are not able to understand the magnitude of the universe. I think anyone who sits across from someone and says, I have an answer to the universe, I have an answer to what happens, I don't think there is an answer for human beings. I think we are so limited in our perceptions.
But if someone's communicating
Sure.
with you, it's logical as a curious individual to ask, when you died, what happened?
Absolutely.
Why can't you tell me that?
Because it's not a physical place. Because we use points of reference to
how do they talk to you?
They communicate through impressions in the same way that a deaf person uses sign language to communicate when they no longer have the ability to hear. They use symbolism as a means of connecting and relaying information. What I have found, I've done over 1,000 readings, they do acknowledge something about the other side. They do acknowledge certain things about where they're at. The things they have acknowledged are an awareness of the lessons that their lives had, the lessons that they learned in their life, the ripple effect that their actions had on others. They come through with a very keen understanding of a lot more than they did in life from a more enlightened perspective.
So that means everyone's out there.
When people come through, relationships really change. If people held on to animosity or hostility or often just weren't able to resolve things, they come through and they have to get to a place where they have accepted things as they are. We don't seem to hold on to our resentments and our anger when we pass.
I mean, you think you could hoodwink people because they want so much to talk to Grandma?
I think my validation speaks for itself, and I think my reading speaks for themselves. I tell people straight up, anybody can tell you your loved one loves you, but it's the details that come through around that connection that validate that person is.
Would you tell them if their loved one hated them? See what I mean,
happened.
Tyler?
Yeah.
Never happened.
Never happened.
You never had an uncle who said, I still hate my nephew?
Never happened.
Come on, Tyler.
Yeah, the dead are not alive, so they are not human. They are not like us in the way that
But they can communicate to you. So why can't they tell you, they can tell you, I love my son.
Sure.
Why can't they tell you, I hate him?
They don't see the point in hate.
But they can do the point of love.
Sure.
So they know love, but they don't know hate.
They know both. They just know what matters.
You got to explain that to me.
They're able to communicate from their perspective and understanding of to them from where they're at what really mattered in their lives, what we need to focus on as people. They don't see a purpose in hate. They come through and certainly will acknowledge this happened, this had this repercussion, but it's never came through in a way where anyone came through spiteful.
But Larry was really fascinated by that, and I was in the hot seat, and he just couldn't grasp that we let go of hatred when we die. He's like, well, people are hateful. How can the spirits not be hateful? I'm like, Larry, they go through a process. And he found that to be a really interesting thing, and clearly wherever he's at, he's gone through it. So rest in peace, Larry King. He was a lovely man, lovely, lovely man. He grilled me, he put me in the hot seat, which I deserved, it was fine.